Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to one of our information sessions delivered by the National Extension College. I'm just going to leave it another minute to let everybody join. It's a popular session today. Do say hi if you're here in the comments. If you've not used this type of platform before, you should just find comments at the right-hand side. It's lovely to know that people are there, so please just say hello. Anything you want to say about yourself as well, that's great. And we know there's some people we can talk to. So just say hi and we'll start in a few minutes. For those who are starting to join, just saying a welcome and a hello from the National Extension College, and we're just about to start in a minute. Hello, Karen. Hello, Jane. Hi, Lyndon. Thank you for saying who you are and your context. Lovely. So just to say, this session will be recorded and available on the National Extension College YouTube channel after the session has finished. So we'll get going, if that's okay. So this session is, as hopefully you all realise, is around booking exams. And it's delivered by National Extension College. So we have been, it's our 60th birthday this year, so we've been delivering mainly GCSEs and A-level qualifications and courses to students for 60 years. And we work with lots of individuals, people like yourself, Lyndon, and others on the call. We also work with schools. And really, we're a charity, we're not for profit. So our mission and our values are around ensuring that everybody has the opportunity to move forward with their education, whatever their context. So we thought it would be a useful webinar to put together because the aspect of studying with NEC, really straightforward. When you enrol with us, you get access to all your course material and your tutor is there to support you via the online platform. But often questions come about the examination aspect. It's the bit where you may be a bit more nervous, or there's aspects about the booking of the exam that you're unsure of. For students who are with NEC, then there is information available, but for people who are considering either studying with NEC or looking at studying with a distance learning provider, hopefully this webinar will help you. So I'm delighted to introduce and welcome the host of today, which is Louise Tolhurst. Louise is our exams and assessment manager. So she's going to be taking you through the slides, giving you the information you require. So I'm going to hand over to Louise and turn my mic off. So hi, Louise.
Hiya. So I'm Louise and I'm the exams and assessment manager at NEC. Today we're going to run through what our offer is, give you some feedback from students that have previously used our service, give you some information about the venues, give you details on how to book, and also some information on access arrangements. Hopefully by the end of this webinar, you'll have everything you need to start thinking about booking your exams, but should you have any questions, please feel free to pop them in the chat box, and at the end we'll work through them. Also, if you have any questions after the webinar has finished or you're watching this at a later date, you're more than welcome to email the exams team. We'll be happy to help, and we'll give you that email address later. So, what can the NEC offer? At NEC, we understand that finding an exam centre and making sure you're correctly entered can be stressful. That's why we offer all of our students a guaranteed exam place at one of our partnership exam centres. In a traditional school or college, it can feel like exams just happen. But many distance learners who tried organising their own exams as a private candidate soon realised that the reality is a little bit more complicated. Booking your exams through one of our partner centres is really simple. You just need to complete our form and we do the rest. Booking with us allows you to concentrate fully on your studies and revision. All of our centres work hard to provide a professional and friendly service, which is valued very highly by our students. As an approved examination centre, we are able to cover both written exams and non-examination assessments. For example, this includes oral exams for modern foreign languages, coursework for A-level English, English literature and history, A-level science practical endorsements, the spoken language endorsement for GCSE English language, and the fieldwork element for A-level geography. You can find detailed information about the requirements for your subject by going to the About Assessment section within your course on Learn at NEC. As I've just mentioned, we can help with the A-Level Science practical endorsements. We've got a number of labs that offer a warm professional service and so far have provided us with a 100% pass rate. Many of our partner exam centres can offer the spoken language endorsement that is attached to the GCSE English language, but where this isn't possible, we are able to offer this online with one of our NEC tutors. We would be your entering centre in order for us to facilitate this, and we would then transfer you to a centre of your choice for the written papers. And where students require things like extra time, use of a word processor due to a disability or a learning difficulty, we are able to provide support and guidance in getting you what you need. We'll go over this a bit more as we progress through these slides. Unlike booking exams independently, by booking with us, we can help you with every step of the way. Should an issue arise, we can rectify this working with you. Unfortunately, should you decide to book privately, the support that NEC can offer you is limited as we have no relationship with that private centre. The examination service that NEC offers is highly regarded by students, and this slide shows you a small sample of the type of feedback we are regularly receiving. We ask candidates to complete a survey each year to find out how things went and if there were any improvements we could make. And we're always very quick to act on any improvements that are required. Communication is key, so this is always an important question to ask our students. We were really pleased to see from our most recent survey that around 93% of candidates found communication to either be excellent or very good. Booking in for exams and ensuring you've provided all the right information about yourself, and more importantly, making sure you've entered for the right exams can be a worry for many. And people do make errors, particularly when there is optionality available in units. With this in mind, it was reassuring to see that of the candidates that completed the survey, 100% of them found that the booking system met their requirements. So where are the NEC exam partner centres? Currently, they're located in Belfast, Birmingham, Bolton, Cambridge, Coventry, Doncaster, Fareham, High Wycombe, London, Oxford, Romford, St Neots, Stockton-on-Tees, Swindon and Taunton. We are always looking for new centres, so please do keep an eye on the exams and assessment page of Learn at NEC for any updates on new centres. Our practical endorsement labs for A-Level Science are unlikely to be in the same building as your chosen exam centre for the written exams. So it's important that you spend some time reading through the information for each lab on the exams and assessment page. There is flexibility in the location options when booking your lab and written exam centres. For example, if it works out better for you to complete your endorsement in Liverpool and say then your written exams in Taunton, this is perfectly acceptable. The exam application form will give you these options, so you just select what would work best for you. So how do you go about booking exams with us? I've made reference a few times now to the exams and assessment page on Learn at NEC. Along with the About Assessment section within your course, this is a really important place for you to go to keep informed. It answers many of the frequently asked questions and provides links to the exam application form, fees, detailed information about our venues, exam dates, and lots of other really useful resources. We will also post forum messages to let you know when new information is available, and we'll also keep you updated on availability within centres. Our application form, guidance and fees is updated each year, usually in late September. However, should you require access arrangements, we do release an earlier form in the summer, usually around June or July, and encourage you to start working on that application as soon as it becomes available. You'll see a tile on the screen that's called Summer 24 Exam Application Form. This is where you'll go to book your exams for this summer. All you need to do is complete our online form, and once we've done our checks, we will send you a payment link. Should we have any issues in proceeding with the application, for example, if there was something missing or we had a tier query, we would get in touch before requesting payment. We then send you a confirmation email and you can relax then knowing everything is going to be taken care of. For summer entries, the exam centres usually start getting in touch with candidates in the spring, so please don't be alarmed if you don't hear anything from them straight away. Our exam booking service is very popular and becomes extremely busy. In order to avoid disappointment and to get your first choice centre, we would advise you to enter sooner rather than later, as the closer we get to the January deadline, the more chance there is of a centre being at capacity for certain subjects. If you're planning to enter for exams this summer, then you need to make yourself aware of these deadlines on screen now. If you require access arrangements and you haven't already applied, I would encourage you to do so as a matter of urgency. Year on year, requests for things like separate invigilation and use of a word processor have been increasing, and centres only have so many rooms and laptops available to them. And it's very much on a first come, first served basis. Our access arrangement application form has been open since July, so we will start seeing centres at capacity for these sorts of requests over the coming weeks, if not sooner. So what are access arrangements? Access arrangements allow candidates with special educational needs, disabilities, or temporary injuries to access the assessment without changing the demands of the assessment. So what access arrangements are actually available? There are things like supervised rest breaks, use of a word processor, smaller venue, but taking into account that there will be limited availability for these, support of a reader or scribe, and again, limited availability, or extra time. As some of these arrangements have limited availability, like I've just mentioned, we would strongly suggest again that you apply for exams as soon as we announce that the booking form is live. Not wanting to sound like a stuck record, but if you're planning to enter for summer 2024, we really would advise you to do it now. Home invigilation. So unfortunately, we're not generally able to help with a home invigilation request due to the time restrictions to travel to and set up the exams after the exam paper was released by the awarding body. However, our exams team's always available to discuss options with you, so please do get in touch if this was something that you were hoping for. So generally, it's the awarding body that decides on who can have access arrangements, but in some cases it is the exam centre. Your application for access arrangements may be declined if they feel the evidence does not show need. The relevant awarding body and centre will review each case on an individual basis. They will want to understand the candidate's individual circumstances and, where possible, put in place appropriate adjustments which will allow examinations to be sat. Unfortunately, we can't guarantee any requests for the reasons said above in the above question, but in most cases we can, as long as the appropriate evidence is available and there is capacity in the centre to accommodate this. Although our partnership exam centres will do their best to accommodate, they will be dealt with on a first come, first served basis, hence why we would advise you to apply early. For the first year, this year, we opened up our access arrangement application for next summer 2 months earlier than our standard application to give candidates longer to source evidence and also to help them with their chances of guaranteeing certain requests. This has deemed to be very popular with students, so we're hoping we're going to continue that going forward. What I can guarantee is that we are very clear in our guidance on the exams and assessment page to ensure students are as informed as possible from the point of enrolment, and that we will be ensuring any issues or gaps in evidence are communicated to you quickly, and we will work with you to resolve this. So what sort of evidence might you be asked for? This slide is not an exhaustive list of what you might be asked for, but there are certainly some of the more common evidence requests. What evidence you'll be asked for will depend on your requirements and circumstances. Both the centre and the awarding body like to get a full picture of you and your needs to ensure that everything is considered and the best arrangements are sorted to prevent you from being disadvantaged. If the data they receive does not show need, the request will not be approved. Due to the nature of distance learning, we have to request more evidence than you may be used to. If you had previously had approved arrangements with your school or college, there would have been more opportunity for evidence collection whilst working face-to-face with teachers. This is not something you'll receive through distance learning. Therefore, providers supplement this missing relationship with additional documentation to ensure your evidence bank is satisfactory for an approval. In addition, your old school or college SENCO will have been collecting a great deal of evidence without you potentially even being aware of this. So please don't be shocked if we or our SENCO contact you for things that you haven't provided previously. Access arrangements do take time to process due to the required evidence that's needed. The SENCO will need time to go through this evidence, make sure everything's in date, and confirm that no other assessments are required before they can process an approval. Things like extra time can only be approved by the awarding body. So once the SENCO is happy there is enough evidence, they will complete a request with that awarding body, and we then have to wait for that outcome. This is why our deadlines for applications are earlier than standards. So how do you book? It's pretty similar to our standard booking service. So you'd first need to complete our exam application form online. On the form, you'll need to declare the access arrangements that you require. And in addition to this, we will need you to complete a questionnaire. This will give us an initial idea of the requirements you need and the evidence you currently have. Your entry will go to the centre and your arrangement request will go to the SENCO for processing. You'll then be notified of the outcome of your arrangement request as soon as a decision has been made. The access arrangement section on our exams and assessment page has a lot more detailed information available, and we really encourage you to have a look at that area, but also to email our exams team should you have any question around this subject, however big or small. So although I hope I've answered many of your questions, if you have anything that you'd like to ask, please do so in the chat box now.
Thank you so much, Louise. Really useful information there. As Louise has pointed out, lots of information is available on our Learn at NEC website, and that's for enrolled students. And I think, Louise, you said that if people are prospective students, you're happy for them to look at our webpage, which has lots of this information as well, doesn't it?
Also, sorry to interrupt, if you are a prospective student, and in particular, if you're thinking about access arrangements, we're happy to speak to you to go through what we would need. So feel free, there's our email address is on this slide. So it's exams@nec.ac.uk. So just pop us an email and then we'll be happy to look into it for you.
Thank you, Louise. There's a question here for you. So if I want to take the physics A-level written paper in June 25, would I apply for the exam centre by January 25? And for the physics practical endorsement, I would need to apply by 1st of December 24. So is that all correct? Has Ian got that information?
That is correct, Ian. You do have that right. So again, I'd advise you, obviously, even if you don't have access arrangements requirements, I would advise that as soon as we send that alert out to say the application form is available, I would just apply so that you can have first choice on the practical endorsement dates that are available as well. So yes, I would definitely advise you to apply before the 1st of December, because some of our partnership centres for endorsements will get full before that 1st of December deadline.
That's great. Thanks for your question, Ian. There's one from Lyndon. Hi, Lyndon. My daughter is at a specialist school. They don't offer history GCSE, which is why you're studying with us. Thank you. They said they could be her exam centre. Should they contact you or the exam board?
So, yeah, they can be her exam centre. And would it be IGCSE history that she's doing with us? Because I'm correct, aren't I? So we don't do the GCSE.
No.
So the IGCSE history, there's no non-examination assessment. It's all written exams. So there's no reason why they couldn't do that. What you do need to just make sure is that you go on to the About Assessment section of her course, make sure that you've got all the appropriate information like the awarding body, the specification number, to ensure that they obviously enter her for the correct spec. And they just make an entry for her with the awarding body, which is Pearson. So they would make an entry like they would for any other Pearson candidate.
That's great, thank you. Do we ever, so for students who are, and parents who are sitting at a separate exam venue to the ones that we have, do the exams team happy to liaise with that exam venue if the parent or sponsor would like, if that eases any of the
sometimes sometimes it's not necessary, but obviously if there is any sort of NEA attached, then yes, we're always happy to do that. So if you just email the exams team, exams@nec.ac.uk, and put that request in, we will look into it for you.
Super, thanks, Louise. And then Jane is asking, can you explain how the A-level history, the NEA works? So you talked about NEAs at the beginning, didn't you?
So A-level history, it is coursework, really, as we all know it. So you'll work through the course, and at appropriate times it will explain to you when you need to submit the various elements of the NEA, the actual written work. Our tutors will mark that work. We'll provide you with the mark. So So usually around sort of, I think it's April time of that examination year, we will provide you with the mark, and you have an opportunity for what's called a mark review. There's various criteria that you have to go through for that, but it is all explained on our exams and assessment page. But also as well, feel free to email us if you have any questions. Assuming that you're happy with the mark, that then gets sent on to the awarding body who will moderate it. So we've got an excellent track record with the awarding bodies for moderation. So to date, we've never had any issues and marks have remained the same. If you're a student that, we've got a student, for example, this year that is in Scotland. We don't have any partnership centres in Scotland. So because of the NEA element, NEC needs to be your entering centre so that we can comply with all of the awarding body requirements. We'll make the entry, deal with the NEA, and then we do what's called a transferred candidate application to a centre of your choice. So this student in particular hasn't got a centre in Scotland, and then they sit their written exams in Scotland, so they'll get their overall mark from NEC and on results day.
Okay, that's good to clarify. That is useful for some people to understand how that works from the NEA perspective, and then from the written, it's sort of separating those two out sometimes, isn't it?
Yes.
Great, thank you very much for that answer, Louise. So this, I think, Inkling Story, I love these names that people have for their accounts, thank you. Hi, so your daughter, I think it sounds as if that your daughter's been studying with us for last year and this year. So that in the past we needed to book directly with Wimbledon and with our partner tutors exams. So this is great because this picks up about how our partners work and how some of our centres work, doesn't it?
So this has changed. So there might be some access arrangements that we would ask you to go to the centre directly for, but those are the more sort of things like when people are asking for home invigilation, for example. But we've changed, going forward, we've changed that process. So you will now apply through us and we will be that go-between. So it will make things much easier. So if you've got any questions or your daughter has got any questions, then you can just, if you email exams and explain to us what it is, the access arrangement that you're hoping for, and then we can guide you. But yes, they come through us now. And it should be clear on exams and assessment, but obviously let us know if you feel there's anything needs adding.
Thanks, Louise. So Inkling Stories, drop exams and email. It sounds as if you're ready to sort of start looking at this for next year. So please drop them in an email. No need to go direct to Wimbledon at the moment. Thank you, Louise. Zora, hi. So started 3 A levels, want to finish them in 1 year. Well done. Good luck with that. It's very doable. We have lots of students who manage to do that. So thank you for joining us. I want to delay booking exams as much as possible. Okay, so you just want to ensure that you're going to sit the exam, that you're going to actually be able to study for those exams in the 1 year that you've put aside.
Okay.
So how long? That's a tricky one, isn't it, to answer, Louise?
It depends on the subject. So it depends on what the A levels are. If they do have any non-examination assessment attached to them, or there are things like practical endorsements, you need to really be thinking about it sooner rather than later. But again, there's nothing to stop you from maybe just if it was A-level biology and you wanted the endorsement, for example, you could book onto that one and then hold off on the others. The only issue that there may be is the centre and the centre availability. So, for example, our centres in Fareham and Wimbledon get booked up really, really quickly for some subjects. So particularly subjects like maths, A-level maths and GCSE maths, they're the spaces that go the first. So, I just can see history, English language and sociology. So we would be your entering centre for history and English language. So from my perspective, you know, you could go up to the wire with the deadline and it would be fine because it would give me enough time to make your entry. My issue would be about securing you a place at your first choice centre. So that's, you know, I can't guarantee that. You know, that our advice is always, if you really want one particular centre and it's one of our more popular ones, we would advise you to do it sooner rather than later. So I don't know, whereabouts are you located?
Hopefully Zora can type somewhere in the UK. Where
somewhere in the UK,
yeah. Yeah, where she might be wanting, or he, sorry, where they might be wanting to sit their exam. But how do late fees and things like that work, Louise? What happens there?
Late fees, no one wants to get into late fees because it's expensive. So, you know, there's certain elements that double and then you get into very late fees and it's 3 times the amount. And so we can't guarantee that past that deadline that our centre will be able to accept you. So, you know, I think you've just got to consider that and bear that in mind. We do get people who apply late and get their first choice centre and it's fine, but I just wouldn't want anyone to get upset because they've missed out. And obviously it's going to cost you more money.
Yeah.
So Berlin.
Yes. So this is quite a good segue into how we support students who are would like to get the centres around that. That's very useful. Okay. Useful information, Zara. Thank you. Yeah. I'll leave you to answer that one, Lou.
Yeah. So I mean, you're not doing any science subjects. There's no endorsement attached. I mean, because it's London, you're going to need to do it sooner rather than later. Ordinarily, on other years, as long as you applied sort of by the end of December, you should be okay. I'm just reluctant to guarantee anything because we don't know what entries are going to come in, and you know that it is a really popular centre. So you can keep checking in with us. So you know what we now. October, if you in a month's time email us at exams and ask what it's looking like in terms of capacity, we can let you know again.
That's useful to know. So particularly for 3A levels, there's lots of papers there to sit, Zora. So in a few weeks' time, check in, and if the centres in London are looking like that it's filling up, then at least we can let Zora have that information. Thank you, Inkling. Yes, sometimes if you're looking to sit in London and you classify Wimbledon as London, it's a bit of a train journey out. It's like Cambridge in some respects, I suppose. And actually, it's a good point, Zora. There's other centres as well. So if you're flying into to London and staying in London, you can access other centres, which are the base.
Definitely. I mean, you know, we had a centre in. We had so we had other centres in London. So we had a centre in central London. Actually, it caused more problems because of transport issues. So we had a number of students that used to be a bit of a nightmare for. So actually, on the whole, I haven't had anyone say they've had any issues getting there. But obviously, take that into account. And sometimes it's actually easier to get to one of our other venues than it is to try and get to a London centre. You can see here. Yeah, we have at the moment. We've got the one centre, so it's Wimbledon. We are in negotiation with another centre in London, but at the moment Wimbledon is the only confirmed one. When we say centres, it's because we have a number of labs that we use that are dotted around London. So I think that's the confusion there.
That's right. Thank you, Louise. Hopefully we've answered most of the questions that have come up. Any other questions from anybody? And I think, Louise, you were just saying there, and you said earlier that we're always looking to extend our exam venues. Yeah. And we base that, I think, well, you base that on where we get a lot of interest from people. And as you say, just keep checking back if there is a new centre. Thanks, Zora. If there is a new centre, then obviously it's announced, isn't it, to our current students and it's put on our website.
Yeah, we've had this before, where our application form has been released, and then another centre has come on board, and that's no issue. And obviously, if a new centre were to come on board and you needed to swap, you decide, oh, actually, that would work better for me. That's not necessarily out of the question. You just need to contact us at exams, and we'd look into that for you.
Wonderful. Thank you. So thank you very much. Thank you, everybody, for joining us, and particularly those who've asked some questions. Thank you, Inkling. We'll also take note of all the comments and questions, but if there's anything specific that you have more sort of detailed information you'd like to share with the exams team and have some answers to, please do email into the exams@nec.ac.uk, and then Louise and her team will happily help you. Hopefully this webinar has been useful, giving you an insight into how booking exams with NEC works. And thank you again, Louise, for your delivery. Please do watch back on our YouTube channel, and you can share that link with anybody who may be interested in booking with us. And I hope you all have a lovely evening. Thank you very much.